let's talk about that, from taking romantic love to a even more broader sense of love, even more broader sense of love and connection with other people. What do you think I mean by when I say living in love? To live in love, or like the art of living love. What do you think that means?
Um, well, there's a phrase that I use pretty much daily, and it's that, blank is more art than science. I love that phrase because, there's always the difference between artfulness, creativity, and technique, and structure and things. And it's like, when it comes to love, I would say it is more art than science, because there's obviously the science of hormones and how you feel in the moment, but it's more like it's more about how you go about it, and how you
express it,
how you being honest with yourself. Another thing, finding someone who also is honest with themselves.
The old age. Good luck.
Good luck with that one. But I think it depends, obviously on your type of relationship you have with family. Like I said, there's always going to be some sort of persona you put on. I just think that with family members and things like that, there's a difference between, there's a platonic love, there's always familial love, there's romantic love, and I think that there are different places for different things. I think, would that answer your question?
It does, and to even build upon that, the reason I asked this question is because I recently had a friend. He sent me this message. We were talking, and he's talking about how love is such a ephemeral thing, and it's so hard to pin down. That's what makes it so difficult, because it changes. And he wonders what the word for love was before we had the word love, and like how we expressed that. And now he said he came to the realization that he thinks love isn't everything. It's like love isn't every muscle, every breath, every word, every external thing that you see. Everything is love. And to find those things, because we've now kind of conceptualized it all in one thing and just kind of place some actions and call that love, to find it on another things is the true path to happiness, is the true path to fulfillment. I remember there was a time when I was like really in touch with the trees, that I used to love outwardly. I would just project love, and I think that's my personality anyway, but like that time especially, I felt that when I'd meet someone and I would just like have this like connection with them, be able to look inside them and like love the person they are regardless of their faults. And that is a very hard thing to do for a long time, but I think that's what I mean when I say to live in love. But the question I'm asking myself, and I want to ask you, it's like, how realistic do you think that is in this world of like cruelty and like backstabbing and betrayal? How realistic is it to live completely in love as some of these prophets did?
What you mean, how realistic it is to love someone?
To just live through love, to have that kind of self-expression of just, I'm going to love everything.
I think it is definitely achievable. Realistic as in anyone can do it, I would say. It's realistic to an extent where some people just won't let go of their limitations. They'll limit themselves because they believe either it's something to do with their religion or their culture or the way they grew up, or just traumatic things that happen to them that make them have these limitations about themselves. It can stop you from loving things, and at some point you'll end up just not loving anything. But I think that it's achievable to do things that you love and just do everything with love, because that's just really the only thing that you can do, where it's like, to go against the stream, so to speak. You'll do things that you love because you only have one life. People say YOLO,
Don't know what adage from back in the day.
Hashtag YOLO. But I think that, if you want to go through life aimlessly, the best way to do that is just to love everything, because if you haven't got an end goal, then you're going to love everything about the next few moments, because you don't know when you're going to die.
Absolutely agree. And I think I would challenge everyone to go out there and live in love. And I think just before, we're going to have closing thoughts now, but just before I do that, I know you read something to me before that I wanted you to read to the podcast too. Right? You find that I'm going to just answer this question about love. I think that I challenge people to go out there and try to live in love, just to see how that makes you feel. Because I think a lot of our external is about how we feel internally, and there's a chemistry to the world about like giving and taking. If you go out there and you project love, you feel better about yourself. And I know that's difficult in the world, you know, because people are so offstandish. But if you just, in your words and in your actions, in your breath, in your eyes, project love in whatever form that takes for you, and not in some corny way, but in a true way that you really mean it, I think you get the feedback from the world that you'll have like more love projected back onto you, and you feel better about yourself. So to close out this podcast, actually, I want you to read this and then go final questions. But could you read what you found, and just to tell me what that is before you read it?
Yeah. So basically, this is my journal. I have actually visibly whipped out a bunch of things because I was like, no, I don't want this. Ripped it out. But I wrote this down a couple days ago because I want to look for. I was going through a thing where it was like, life is chaotic, what's the point? You know, I don't know what I'm doing. And then this came up on, you know, my deep 3 a.m. web search. And it's by Albert Camus. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. But here's how the quote goes. From the moment absurdity is recognized, it becomes a passion, the most harrowing of all. Individuals should embrace the absurd condition of human existence, while also defiantly continuing to explore and search for meaning. I love this one. It's very... he's talking about basically how human nature is to be defiant. No matter what we do, what we are chosen to do career-wise, or who we love, it's usually done defiantly because we want to do things by ourselves, have our world and our way, and despite the chaos in the world, we have to defiantly find meaning anyway, because it doesn't matter what your meaning is or what that person's meaning is. If you have your own individual meaning, then the life around you will be absurd, but you'll embrace it because you have your own meaning. And I really like that quote.
100%, and I agree with everything you've just said. I think that's just a very important realization I made too, about like push against the absurd, push against the chaos, push against the absurdity of life, push against all these things that I think that we take for granted. And I think the idea of love, the idea of loving and being so romantic and seen as kind of an offstandish thing in our generation, but push against that idea, and push against that narrative, because you'll be able to find your own self in that. Push against the things people say about not writing poetry and calling that, you know, feminine and all these things. That makes no sense. Once you put your pen to paper, you understand that you're having a conversation with yourself, and that's deeper than these gender roles. It's more deeper than that. It's what it means to be a human being. And so like really go for that and really see what comes out of that, you know. And we are on borrowed time, so I just wanted to ask if there's any closing thoughts or anything that you want to say before we go. Any questions that you have? This is your time to go.
So, okay, about you were saying about the gender roles. Me personally, I love men who like poetry because it means that they don't care about what people think about them, and they live through love, like we were talking about before. You know, everything about us, you know, they live through everything they love. They'll let passion consume them, and that's what I love the most. My last question would be, as a man, you know, do you believe people see you differently when you tell them that you're a poet, versus how you feel about yourself when you write poetry?
I think that's a brilliant question. That's a really good question. I think